right. Thank you for everybody coming. I think I'm supposed to push this button maybe. Oh, there we go. Is this the button? We'll see. Does our pictures come up? Am I doing this right? No. There we go. There's a green button on the thing. My name is Chikai Ohazama. I just joined Niantic yesterday officially. I just tweeted about it yesterday as the director of Web3 for the company. And John was very convincing in saying I should come back and work with the team again. A lot of people I've known for 20 and some even 30 years, so I'm very happy to be back. But today I am actually hosting and interviewing the SpotX team, who also sort of was announced yesterday. They've been working on some great things. And I'm going to welcome them up to the stage. First will be, actually, is there this order? Okay, first will be Chris Daniels. Come on up. Applause. I guess I should sit down on, should I sit here? I don't know. I'm going to sit here.
Okay.
Or wait a minute. We'll see. Okay, I'm going to sit here. All right, and then next will be Galina Fendikevich. Come on stage. And then Jackson Harris, come on stage. And then David Woodward.
Nice.
And last but not least, Tracy Levine. I practiced a lot to sit around with especially Galina's last name, Fendikevich. She said it's like feed a cabbage or
find a cabbage.
Find a cabbage. My name is always pronounced wrong, so I like to try my very best to get it right. And I even heard a story from Tracy that there were two Levines, a Levine and a Levine at her school. And so we heard about the calling to the principal's office when she got in trouble.
Whoops.
So welcome, thank you for coming here. You know, I think that first I'm gonna do is just get a sense of how many of you have actually played the Mind game that they released yesterday. Raise your hand if you have.
Nice.
1, 2, 3. All right. Who plans to play right after this and go downstairs immediately afterwards? Raise your hand. It should be everybody else. Everybody else. And did who of you actually got the sweatshirt at the end?
There we go.
Oh, look at that! Look at that!
Nice.
Winners. But they did that yesterday, and this is an amazing team that sort of formed not that long ago. You'd think, like, after interacting with them, that they would have been around for like years of friendship, and they finally got together and did this big thing together. But they only met in February. Is that correct? January. And so it is amazing to see these group of people come in and just bond and have the synergy that quickly. And so I'm going to sort of go through and have them introduce themselves a little bit and tell a little about themselves, but I'm going to try to keep it a bit more sort of organic as I do it, so it won't be necessarily in order and give the names. But first, since Chris is next to me, hi Chris, and I'm going to have you talk about Shrimp Society and how that, I think, is where you and Tracy first met or sort of hung out a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. So in 2021, I started an organization in Miami, which was a community for early stage startup founders. So in kind of the Miami tech ecosystem, there wasn't a lot of support and ecosystem, and really just a strong community of early stage, founders, developers, people that were building very early, technology companies. So we started the Shrimp Society. It has nothing to do with seafood, but the name is just a fun thing to kind of bring together our community.
Where did the name come from, though?
The name came from when you start out in kind of the startup world, you're at the bottom of the totem pole. You're a shrimp in the ecosystem.
Okay.
And we wanted to bring together all of those shrimp to share ideas, resources, their networks, access to capital, all these different things. And it's also kind of a nod to being a humble builder, right? And not having to fake it all the time and flex and kind of just be real and be about things. So Tracy joined the Shrimp Society as one of the first cohorts, the original cohorts. We say the OG cohort. And so we knew each other in the Miami tech scene. And then the Shrimp Society sponsored a hack house for Miami Hack Week, which is kind of the setting that we all met each other in January. And we can get into that a little bit.
Yeah, Tracy, so how did you first meet Chris? Like, what did you think of him? Do you think, oh, it's that cool guy, I should hang out with him? Or like, who is this guy? What is he doing? What's this Shrimp Society thing?
So I met Chris about a month after I graduated boot camp. I started my own startup for boot camp grads to gain experience post boot camp. And my boot camp director basically said to me, you got to meet this guy, Chris. And I think he was one of the first phone calls I got on, and I'm like pitching him my product, having this conversation, slideshow, everything. And I'm like, all right, this is a good partnership. And honestly, I can say like the Shrimp Society was one of the biggest proponents in my startup and in my journey. Met a lot of my closest friends through the Shrimp Society and have been at events with the Shrimp Society forever. And then Hack Week happened, and I was like, I got a code for the Shrimp Society. I got to give back to them. And so that's how I ended up in the Shrimp House. I think I was like the first person accepted or something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and like, so the Hack Week was, what date was that?
That started January, I think 23rd, so it was the last week of January. And for kind of context, there's this new thing going on in Miami called Miami Hack Week. It's what they call a federated hackathon, where there's about 20 different houses that people will co-work in. Our specific house for the Shrimp Society had a Web3 focus. We were kind of partnered with Solana, which is a big cryptocurrency. But there were other houses like SoftBank had a house, other tech companies and kind of venture capitalist firms have houses, and it's really a week-long hackathon that's completely open-ended. So teams form in the house. So we had about 20 engineers in our Shrimp Society house, and then our team formed in a pretty good story that Tracy can share. But yeah, so that was January, and then that ended January 30th, and that's pretty much right when we met John and the Niantic team.
So did you guys first connect when at the hack house? Like, did you say, or is it something else? Who was the first person you connected with, Tracy?
Jackson was actually the first person I connected. So Chris, obviously, and I knew each other. Chris wasn't really hacking. He was kind of running the house, kind of just supporting us throughout the week. But the first night, we're in this house, and it's like a reality TV show a little bit. I think like the real world. I guess I'm aging myself here. But
were there cameras in the house filming
yes,
it?
there was a video camera videoing us, and we're like in the house, and this camera is on us. And everyone's walking in, hey, I'm this person, and this is what I do. Hey, I'm this person. And everyone's just like kind of getting to know each other. Like you think of that first night in whatever show you're watching, right?
Right.
Reality show. And Jackson and I are talking, and I'm like, I like your vibe. Let's work together. He's like, I like your vibe. There was a third guy in our group who we lost, obviously. But we were kind of like, all right, whatever we're doing together. And then Jackson can tell kind of where we went the next morning.
So what was your first impressions of Tracy?
A lot of energy, like,
You couldn't tell already, even from this short stage appearance.
Yeah, no, like a lot of energy, but like good energy, and being a software engineer who's also a boot camp grad, that's pretty uncommon, I guess, to find someone and be able to connect with them on, hey, you're not only a boot camp grad, but you're also entrepreneurial in spirit and a founder, so that was really cool. So I think that kind of helped with the vibe and the connection early on.
Cool. And then who's the next person after Jackson? David. So you come in this group, you see these two people talking, or they see you and they pick you out. Like, how did you enter the group?
So I was actually late to the group. I missed the first night where they did a bunch of idea planning and stuff. So I rolled in the first day of the hackathon. There was already kind of some teams forming and stuff, and Chris did a great job. He brought us all together. He's like, all right, everybody in the house, we're just gonna throw ideas on a whiteboard. No stupid ideas, anything goes. So we were just jamming on a few ideas for about an hour, and then it kind of came to be that we were all kind of interested in doing some kind of events-based thing with NFTs, and then I think Tracy would be like, oh, it'd be cool if you could go collect NFTs, kind of like a scavenger hunt with different events that you go to. So that's
cool.
kind of.
And so you came on the second day and you saw that whiteboard idea, and you said, hey, can I join your team?
Yeah, so I was working on an NFT ticketing startup before all this, so I was very interested in live events and NFTs and kind of where the space is going, and I think so were these guys, and I was like, hey, that's kind of an interesting idea. Let's jam on that for a little bit.
Cool. And why did you go to the hack house? And what brought you to the hack house? What was it that because I think you live in Texas, I think as John and you found out that you both are from Texas. You know, what brought you to Miami and why the Hack Week?
Yeah, I mean, the Hack Week brought me, so I had a good friend, Zach. He was helping, like, kind of organize the whole thing, and he's like, dude, if you've got to get down to Miami. Like, that's where all the Web3 crypto stuff is going on. So I was like, okay, like, let's do it. I had quit my job, like, 2 weeks before because I really wanted to just dive into this space and really, like, get on the ground and start working. So paid for myself to get out there. I was kind of worried because I was like, I don't have a job anymore. I don't have, like, money coming in. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. But then did the hackathon, everything went great.
Cool. So your friend Zach, did he hear like, I mean, I assume he knew what happened afterwards and that he was the genesis, like why you're here. Like,
so the funniest part about Zach is that when we became a hack house, like afterwards, Zach kind of was around. And we kind of called him our house pet. So he was just kind of like this lingering person in our team that was like sometimes around. And Galina was the first, like 2 weeks after the hack house, Galina was remote in Panama. And she's like, who is this guy that keeps popping
always in the
Zoom
background? Yeah, I'm like trying to talk to the team, and then there's just like this image walking back and forth, like sitting in the corner. And I'm like, I don't know who that is.
And like, Glenn, how did you sort of enter the group? And Chris, did you enter the group at this point, or are you still like the?
I was still I was still ordering food and setting up things and just trying to manage the whole thing. It was a lot of people to manage, and it's interesting too because it's a very open-ended hackathon.
Okay.
So some people were really focused on finding a team, building stuff. Other people kind of had things that they had brought and wanted to work on that. There were also a lot of events going on, which kind of led to the SpotX idea of, you know, there's panels at this co-working space, and there's a party here, and there's a workshop here. So it's a very spread out thing, and I was trying to herd cats and make sure everyone's fed and play camp counselor for the first 2 days.
Have you been a camp counselor before?
No.
Some people have, and they have an amazing skill for camp counseling. So, Galina, how did you enter into the fray, into this mix of I don't know, of ruffians, I guess?
I was at Bitcoin 2021, and Shrimp Society had an event. So I went to the Shrimp Society event, and I signed up for the newsletter. And I have a really bad habit of signing up for newsletters and never reading them. They just pile up in my inbox. But I happened to read Chris's newsletter, and it had a link about the hackathon. So I was making Miami my home base. I have been traveling throughout the pandemic, and I was supposed to be in South America all year this year. Obviously, best laid plans. So I was thinking, okay, I'm headed to Panama next. There's this hackathon. Let me just do this, and then I'm going to hop on a plane and continue traveling. So came to the house on that first night, too. Tracy and I were 2 of 3 women in the house, and the rest were all men, so we connected. It was nice to have another woman there. And then I was chatting with other people that first day, and when ideas were being thrown around, I was shopping for a team, and I found them, and I connected with their idea. I actually, my mind was in NFT loyalty programs, and the whole idea of going to different places and collecting something. I'm a big rewards person. I have a ton of credit cards. They're all paid off. But I want my 4% cash back at restaurants and entertainment. I need my 3% from Venmo for like transportation. So I wanted to work on something similar that involved getting NFTs as you visit multiple places.
Cool. And like, as I hear all these stories, like most of them have components of getting out. Like I hear David about events and stuff, and then like you were traveling, like there's this idea of seeing the world. So I can definitely see that through line of just this ethos of just getting out in the world and sort of seeing it. And then you all appreciate that. Even like Dave, I hear is a DJ, and maybe you'll DJ later tonight or something, or take over. But you know, there's a lot of stuff like that that bring people together in real life and connect. And I think that spirit, I think, definitely comes through very, very strongly seeing all of you here. So the meat of it, we're about halfway through here, so I should jump into what actually you guys did, which is you guys created this amazing scavenger hunt NFT game, and that came out of this hackathon And just to set a timeline of events, so I can sort of pace this a little bit, is that you did this and you launched it. And how long was it between the time you came up with the idea, you guys met, the time you launched the actual sort of event or just get it out there?
Yeah, we all met basically on Monday, give or take, maybe Monday, Tuesday. The team really came together Wednesday. That was like that night, worked through the night,
Jackson
the whole
and I
day.
with the Trulies.
Yeah, worked through the night. And then on Friday was the big expo. And so someone in the hack house was like, hey, you got to have some sizzle at the expo, right? You got to.
Right.
So we got a briefcase of, like a silver briefcase from like Deal or No Deal from Amazon and filled it with $1,000 of cash. And I remember I went
How
to
did you get $1,000 in cash?
that was my first time ever doing that. I went to the bank and I thought it was going to be so much
You
more.
just went to the bank and say, can I have 1,000? You usually ask questions.
With the
like,
silver briefcase, yeah. I got so many looks. I got so many looks. But yeah, so then that
do
was.
you have photos of that?
Yeah, there's a
I
photo
think photos
going
of
around
that.
of it, big silver briefcase. And so that was the prize. So we launched the game, I think, on Thursday night. And then we went around to all the different hack houses and kind of placed these hidden QR codes. And that's how people would go and find the spot that was at
So
that house.
you came together on Wednesday, you launched it on Thursday, but the QR code's out there and it's just QR codes. There's no like social media, no like.
We had an awesome teaser video we put out, and we had kind of just collectively some following on Twitter and stuff like that,
Okay.
some channels through the Hack Week that we put out this very cryptic promo video, and it was awesome. It was kind of a play on Squid Games, and it was called Shrimp Games. And so from there, people just took off and started going to these houses and collecting them. There were some at the co-working spaces, some at the houses.
There's one still there.
Yeah.
It's still sitting there.
Oh, really?
Say that again? What-
There's one still sitting there.
Sitting
If you-
where?
In the co-working space. On we hid one of them on like a bulletin board.
Okay.
And I like pinned it to the bulletin board, and it's still there. Like if
And
you
does it
go
still
to,
work?
Yeah, it goes to the game.
Ah.
Yeah. So that was the experience, and then Friday we had our winner. We had the last QR code hidden at the actual expo, so it was kind of a conference type of area like this, and there was a very hidden QR code, and the winner had already kind of built up a pretty big lead, but they had to unlock that last QR code, and then one of the really cool things is the winner, she had never had an NFT, never had a crypto wallet, any of that. She was really just motivated to go out and explore, and then on the back end, that's where we were able to give her the commemorative NFTs and set up a wallet and things like that.
And so like, how did Niantic discover, how did you guys connect?
Yeah.
Either John or Phil, I'm not sure who it was, but like, what was, I mean, I assume they were there and they saw it, maybe they even played the game, I have no idea.
So what ended up happening is there's a big community in Miami called the Web3 Equity Community, Tuttle Tribe. It's like an NFT community, and it's all about teaching women and others about Web3 and getting us into the space. And I was very close with many of the people in the community. And there's a Telegram channel, and my name was being thrown around the Telegram channel. I was not in it. I was not there. And people were sending me screenshots like, oh, they're talking about you. Oh, can you help me with this project? Oh, this, that, the other thing. Female developer, I guess that's what happens. And so I joined the Telegram channel because I'm like, I gotta figure out what's going on. Why is my name being thrown in this Telegram channel? And then the next morning I wake up and I see founders of Pokemon Go and head of venture at Niantic are looking to meet crypto gaming female founders in Miami. This message, and my friend tags me and writes like, my name on Telegram is the Shrimp Girl. And she tags like, at the Shrimp Girl is creating one right now for Miami Hack Week, and that's how we got connected to Daniel. And then
Daniel Letterman.
Daniel Morris.
Daniel Morris, okay.
And I was talking to Daniel. We ended up setting up a time for us to have coffee with Daniel and John the next week. And we did something very smart. So, and John's in the room. Shouldn't be saying this out loud. But the night before we were supposed to meet with them, there was this like happy hour that was being run by some people in Miami Tech that I was connected to. And they invited me. And I'm like, no, I'm bringing the whole team. So I brought the whole team with me. And we kind of like planted the seeds to John and Daniel of what we were doing and who we were and where we were going.
What night was this? What day was
This
this?
was Wednesday night.
Wednesday night. We somehow like shut off the lights.
Yeah, it was Wednesday night.
Okay. We're still here. You can see us. It's completely dark.
Kinda nice.
We're here. Maybe only voices, but we're still here.
Yeah, so we went to this happy hour. These guys kind of talked to John, I talked to Daniel. We hinted and planted seeds, and they're like, so tell us more, And we're like, you'll have to wait till tomorrow. And then we met for coffee in Miami Beach the next morning, and the journey was just from there.
Wow. Wow. And so you guys met, but then when did the whole deal go down? That
Friday.
Friday?
Was it Friday? Was it Thursday? It might have been Thursday. So
Yeah.
this might have been Tuesday night.
Okay.
And then we met with them on Wednesday. And then basically we met with John and Daniel. And like an hour later, I get a message saying like, can you get a conference room? And then an hour later, we're on with the C-suite of Niantic on a Zoom call. And then the next morning, we're meeting with them again. And so I think Thursday, it all went down.
So this is kind of an amazing sort of confluence of events. One, you guys only met like 2 days before. You launched this thing in 2 days, and then in parallel to all that, John and Daniel, everybody, were seeing what's going on and happened. So I think, I mean, one, the fact that you guys are still here and haven't left and departed and fighting or whatever. Wow. And the fact that you guys are here, I think it's just shows that there was something very, very special going on in terms of the event, in terms of all of you as a team, and also just like the sort of alignment of visions in terms of the future of what you guys see and what Niantic sees in terms of what we want, how we want the world to go. And there's this additional element that I think that John mentioned yesterday, and I think it's something that the company is exploring, is this whole Web3 crypto. What is it going to be? What is it going to happen with that? And how do we explore that in a way that actually is meaningful versus just tinkering with technology? And I think the context of exploring the world and falling into the mission, I think, is an amazing sort of just opportunity. Like, those things don't happen very often. I mean, my guess is that you guys have been working for years, doing either stuff with smart contracts with David, or with your startups or teaching, or you're with the Shrimp Society, and you with the cryptos, or sort of like in terms of Filecoin and a bunch of stuff you've done. And Jackson, I don't know what he does, but like.
Honestly, anything, Jackson has done the most out of all of us in life. Like every time he talks, it's like, wait, you did what?
Yeah.
So what have you done?
Well, so I actually started here in San Francisco in 2017 doing a lot of hackathons. So I attended the boot camp then, and I had learned JavaScript the week before, so only into like the boot camp for 2 weeks, and came out to a World Economic Forum hackathon and participated in that, and then just kept going. So from 2017 through 2020, I guess, 2021 with the Miami Hack Week. I've just been doing a lot of hackathons and then leveling my way up through software engineering, all the way from scrappy bootcamp grad and doing like WordPress sites, and then getting hired on to a couple of startups here in the Bay, and freelancing, and then also doing some smart contract development on the side, and then finally getting placed with as a software engineer, like platform engineer at a company out in Roseville, California, and they actually paid for me to go to Miami Hack Week. Thanks, good leap. But yeah, no, they just obviously expanding my skill set as a software engineer. They're totally for that. So like, yeah, we'll help you go to this conference or whatever. So yeah, just a lot of huge interest in crypto things.
Has it been always Web3 and crypto throughout that sort of journey that you described?
Yeah.
Or has it evolved into it over time?
I would say 2017 is where that really took off for me. But before that, I was doing a lot of stuff with like mapping games. So I would make games in Sacramento, California, where people would come out and we would use Google Maps to like pin locations to places, and we'd print them out. This was like 2009, and have people go out and play like LARPing, so like live action role-playing games, where there'd be like a zombie apocalypse happening in Sacramento, and you have to go to like different places throughout the city to survive, and if a zombie tags you, you become a zombie. Right. So just creating games is something I've been doing even in, like middle school. I'd create like little tabletop games and stuff like that. So going from creating games, playing a lot of games, getting people out in the world, and then taking technology and enhancing that. Like we were using like Google Checkout in like 2010, and having like online live map updates and stuff in like 2011 and stuff. So it was kind of this weird confluence of things when we're at the Shrimp House, and it's like, hey, let's create games where people are going out again and like, hey, I've kind of done some stuff like this. This would be awesome to take it to the next level.
Cool. And I think the one thing that also see in all this, which I think is part of also the spirit by which I think Niantic is going into Web3 and sort of the blockchain type stuff, is that there is this element of playing with it, having fun with it. Because in the end, you want to have fun with it and have something that will enhance our lives versus, again, just being technology for technology's sake. So I think that comes through in terms of the gaming aspect for sure, but also in the spirit of you guys coming to it and sort of going into these games and seeing you guys out there. Like, I mean, it's amazing to watch you work in this mind game, sort of being there, talking to people, showing what's happening, and sort of leading people through, watching John jump from stone to stone. It's great. I love it. Absolutely love it. And David, I want to ask you a little bit. I mean, tell me if this is true or not. Which I think is you probably have the deepest crypto experience of everybody here in terms of just technology-wise, or is that true?
I think on the hands-on application, yeah, but I think Jackson and I both share. Jackson's always the one that he knows almost everything. Like the second a new crypto thing comes out or a new article or when Terra crashed, he was the first one to hear about all this stuff.
He's a little know-it-all.
I do what I can.
Does Jackson have Jackson facts like Phil has Phil facts?
Jackson, it's the short answer.
I have short answers.
If you guys know Phil Kessler, the CTO of Niantic, he has Phil facts where he spills out these facts out of nowhere that are incredibly deep and incredibly insightful and just, how do you know that? I think you guys said that when you first met Phil, like, he just had Phil facts that came out, and like you guys are like, oh my God, that's the smartest guy we have ever met in the world. I also felt that when I first met Phil too.
He could be lying too. The part about we just believe him, whatever he says.
That's right. It's always right, though.
It's
Even
always
if we try to
right.
fight it, it's always right.
I fact check him, yes. Yeah, he's right. It's crazy.
You like the,
I'm trying to get more people in the audience to smile and look at me, but some of you are smiling, which I'm great, I'm happy for, but hopefully make it a little more fun. So we only have 2 minutes left, and so I want to sort of reflect on maybe what you guys are excited about looking forward, and maybe I'll start with Galina and say, as you look forward, and now that your journey is public within Niantic, and you've got the first game, and look forward, not specific things, I don't think we can really announce any specific things, but in terms of your hopes and your sort of thoughts about the future and how you hope to see those realized within being part of Niantic. So
Yeah. So our team lives in dog years. I'll start off with that. So the future is like a year from now. To us is going to be 7 years because we're focused on quick iteration and experimentation. Rather than thinking about a product for too long, we just want to build it and then test it and see what works and doesn't work. And that's the pace that we're going to keep up. Looking forward is what's cool, what's fun, get to know different communities, what's important to them, where they want to go, how communities want to connect and explore the real world together. And how we can add the accessibility of blockchain and NFTs and crypto, utility, education on top of it.
cool. Tracy?
I think we're, just looking for new ways to get out there in the world and bring NFTs to people in an easy and unique way. And I see us bringing a lot more AR into our future, and I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, with Eighth Wall, which is
With
pretty
Eighth
awesome.
Wall, exactly.
I would also add that we're really excited to, now that kind of the news is out and everything, to interact with the Niantic community, which is massive, both the actual team, the employees, but also the broader community, whether that's across different games or whatever it is. We really want to listen and hear from these communities and see what their challenges are, and then say, hey, is there something we can do? Is there something we can build to solve this, instead of just trying to kind of force something into those communities. We really want to listen and be a resource for everybody in the community.
Cool. Jackson, David?
Yeah, I think kind of demystifying crypto. I think there was someone playing our game yesterday, and they were talking about how difficult it was to mint an NFT and how difficult it was to create a wallet. And while they're having this conversation telling us how difficult it is, they just created a wallet and minted an NFT in the same breath. So just creating experiences like that where we can make these nice primitives accessible, but finding unique ways to do it to where we're kind of just letting people play and experience things like they've always have, and unlocking the power of blockchain behind the scenes.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think the team really nailed it. They said everything I was thinking. I'm just really excited to be here and excited to do some really cool, innovative things.
Cool. I think our time is up. The last thing I'll say is a couple things. One is thank you for coming by. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was a little bit different, I think, from the other panels. It's much more conversational, but to get the spirit of the team. In some ways, what Niantic looks for in what type of people are attracted to the company, like these type of people and these type of people with these kind of values. I think it's very reflective of the company, and I think it's amazing to see that. And I feel very lucky that I'm back working with the team and with Niantic. And the last thing I'll say, though, I think this is something I always watch out for, is I love how diverse this team is, even on stage, both in terms of gender representation as well as just racial backgrounds and so forth. And I think that's also reflects in the values of Niantic, and I love seeing that on this team. And the fact that you guys worked well together, I don't know, I love, when I see that, I just want to call it out and say it's a great thing, and I appreciate it. And the fact that you're here as friends, not necessarily because you want representation, but you're here because you like each other. I assume you like each other.
Yeah.
For the most part, right.
The jury's still out on that one.
Yeah. So thank you for everybody for coming to the end of the talk, and have fun at the conference, and hopefully I'll meet some of you later on.
Come
Thank
say
you.
hi.
Everybody.
Go play the game.
Yeah, go get mine.
Yes, play the game.